8.
You're watching the Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Minute to Skim It. We're not going to talk about comics. We're just going to watch my friend's cat try to get into this bag of snacks. She finally stops the second we start doing a show. Really? Come on, Mavis. What's up, the internet? It's producer Kyle. Jay's here too. We could probably change the thing so that we're both on screen now. I am coming to you live from not the office because stuff. And Miss Jen is slightly under the weather this week. So it's just Jay and I.
Yeah, exciting. So you get one person who's going to really review the books. You got the other person that's like, ooh, the colors were pretty and I like the art. I'm going to just babble on and hopefully you buy the book.
And I'm going to, on occasion, show you what the cat is doing. So we don't have our full complement of books this week because, Miss Jen usually reads a lot more than Jay and I do. But we're just going to go through what we got and we're going to keep moving. So if we're out of here a little early, everybody will have time to get food and drink before Mint Hunter. So, Jay, should we get started?
Let's. Just real quick before we get started. Castle, Triple B, Kenneth, Make Two, Lorena, Mr. Easy Go Lucky, Kenneth Bird, Barlord. Everybody, thanks for joining us.
Plus all the homies over on Instagram.
Them too. I don't have that open, so I can't see it. But hello. So first book. Ready? It's me. So the Fearsome Five, because I only read the first issue of this, didn't even know they all the way showed up, but the Fearsome Five finds Midas's golden glove. And Negaduck plans on returning to St. Canard to turn everything to gold, but Taurus Bulba has other plans. This is a really fun story. The Darkwing Duck book, the Justice Duck books, and the Negaduck books have just all been fantastic. This, honestly, just like Darkwing, could have been a 4-part episode on the show. Almost every character is spot on to how they were in those cartoons, except for Negaduck. And I feel like they're trying to make him evil, but not truly Negaduck evil, if that makes any kind of sense. It feels like they're holding back on him. It's not a knock on the book, just my opinion. Just something to be aware of when you read it. If Negaduck doesn't feel like Negaduck, he's just slightly off. Other than that, if you've never watched the cartoon, you're not going to notice a difference like I did. This is just, it's a great book. All three of these have been great. I said it last week with some other Dynamite books. Dynamite really, for me, has been killing it lately with everything they're putting out. And I'd also like to point out, there's a mistake in this book, and I'm not going to tell you where exactly it's at. And I don't know if it was done on purpose or whatever, but I'll give you a hint. Watch the glove. Watch the Midas glove that Negaduck puts on. Anyway, solid book, very few nitpicks. Again, I'm enjoying the Disney Dynamite combo here. I can't wait for the Fearsome Five and Justice Ducks to finally cross over and hashtag bring back the show, because I think we're all ready for it to come back.
100% agree. Bring back the Negaduck show. Okay. So we've talked about Borealis a few times, and we are going to, not next week, but the week after, have the creative team for this book on Talking Shop. So I don't want to get too into the weeds on this book, but the premise of this book continues to be, Alaska State Trooper cop goes back to her hometown to discover that the cops are all corrupt, and they're covering for people who are smuggling booze and drugs and prostitutes and all kinds of stuff into this small little Alaskan town. And our main character discovers that she has a connection to the Aurora Borealis in a way that many others don't. And it comes out of, we find out in this book that it comes out of some pretty significant trauma for her mother. And that the results of that trauma have somehow transferred onto her. We don't exactly know how yet, and we don't exactly know what all that entails yet. But we just know that when she wants to, she can harness the power of the Aurora Borealis and wreck literally everything. So in this book, the final, there's what feels like it should be the final battle, and it winds up not being the final battle. Hold on. I thought they were going to fight for a second. Anyway, the final battle, and winds up not being the final battle. So this sets up a whole new storyline where we're introduced to a new character from our main character's past. And as a result, we're going to learn a new, some new facts about our main character that I think are going to be very interesting. So I don't want to say more than that because, again, we're going to have Aaron Douglas and the other creators from this book on Talking Shop in about, a week from this coming Monday. So be watching for that and check out this book. Borealis has been really great. This cover is super fun this cover is super interesting and super important, but it's a little spoilery, I'll be honest. So just check out the book. If you haven't read 1 and 2, grab 1 and 2, because if you don't read them, number 3 won't make any sense.
Okay. So, just like I said last time when I read a Van Helsing book, I've been harsh. I've been harsh on Zenescope, and the only reason that I'm harsh on them is because I know how good that they can be. Now, when it comes to this one, I only remember the betrayal at the end of the first issue. I think that comes from my brain tricking me that this says number 2 because I'm so used to seeing Zenescopes like pretty much all being number 1, even if they're still going off the story beforehand. But I dig the Van Helsing character. She's one of a couple of those characters that I really enjoy reading. And this story is pretty good. I found myself going back and rereading some parts because I thought some of the stuff that happens in it's really dope. So little bit of backstory on this one, little synopsis, if you will. So Liesel is captured, and one of the folks she was with is turned and kind of like dropped in the dungeon with her. And she ends up freeing herself, unaliving said former companion, and takes these awesome, they're like holy water and silver mist gauntlets that you could spray people in the face with. really, they were awesome. She breaks out, kills the guards with those, so you get some face melting. It's super awesome. And then she gathers some of the townspeople, and they're going to fight back, but they get ambushed. And a big fight ensues. And just when you think Van Helsing is down, she gets some surprise help at like the last second. And it's like the final page of this issue. So very short, very quick read. You know, Van Helsing is some of my favorite stories. And I would just say that if you're a Van Helsing fan, if you're a Zenescope fan, I would strongly suggest not only putting this in your pull box, but maybe grabbing a few back issues while you're at it. You know, that extra $5 goes a long way in your LCS. So if you enjoy this character, see if you can dig through some of their back issue bins, see if they got some other stories. But I really like this. So Castle, I hope you're enjoying this one. I hope you're reading this one.
Okay. So this is Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian, Canary number 3. This book continues to be like long reads. They're hard reads. This book took me longer than any other book I read today. And part of that is because it's incredibly dense. But part of it is because you have to go back and like reread sections to make sure they make sense. And it's a great book. We find out more about the Hiram Wells and some of the people who are involved in this Canary mine and the cave-in / explosions and what up, Commander? A lot of that kind of stuff that you find out about that we've read in issues 1 and 2 in this book. And then in issue 2, the previous issue, we had discovered that the scientist who was in charge of the mine may have been involved in more nefariousness, maybe, than we want to cop to, or he would want to cop to. I
like that.
And that nefariousness is maybe a little bit, what's what I'm looking for? Genesis chapter 1, The Fall. I'll just leave it this way. You know how in Tenacious D, the Pick of Destiny, they have to battle the devil? Yeah. It gets a lot like that. This book definitely has some levels happening here, right? Like it's an Old West story, but it's a demonic story, but is it a demonic story, or is it a zombie story, or is it I think this really is about greed and power more than anything. And our gunslinger, who we've been following the first 2 issues, maybe should have been more honest earlier on. So it's an interesting kind of conundrum to find, right? That this guy who claims to be brave and claims to be like super whatever Wyatt Earpy is maybe not so much, but now he's kind of forced to be, and he's not as prepared as you'd like him to be. Commander, I don't think he really channels his inner Mort Drucker so much as he channels his inner Joe Kubert. So, but this is Scott Snyder doing his best to write like a spaghetti western, but it still has to be Scott Snydery, so there's demons.
Cool. So, real fast before we go any farther, just want to say what's up to Dan Price and Corey Russ. Dan Price, if you don't know, co-creator of Bigfoot Knows Karate, go check that out. Also, again, I don't want to drag this out, but I just want to say it's so awesome to see people that I'm not used to seeing on this show, that I see on the other shows I work, being here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very awesome. Good to see y'all.
And
right.
and it's like Preston said, like we try and do comic book cliff notes here, right? We read the books a day before they come out so you can know what you're getting into when you go in your local comic shop and hopefully put you onto a book that you might not have been picking up or might not have picked up anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a cool, like, come back and check us out every week because we read something different every week. We talk about different books every week, and we don't always like the books. We don't always like the books every week that we liked the time before. So it's an interesting kind of way to do that. So like I said, come back, check us out, but keep watching. We like I said at the top of the show, normally Miss Jen is here and she reads a lot more books than we do every week because she has access to like the Marvels and DCs. So this week is going to be a little bit short. Jay and I are just going to do our 10 that we normally do. But then next week we'll be hopefully be back to full strength and we'll keep rolling.
Okay. I love Hack Slash so much.
I'm angry you read this and not me.
Okay. So I'm gonna get the sort of story out of the way first. So at a school full of hunters, Cassie Hack is making friends and going on missions, such as going to a strip club that looks like it was inspired by the Thing and gory anime, where they fight not only super weird body horror monsters, but my worst nightmare come to life in a comic. It is a humongous spider made out of people parts. No, you remember that cover I had on screen you couldn't look at? This
Okay,
was
now I'm happy you read this and not me.
yeah, it's oh my goodness. Whoever came up with these monster designs, the artists that did these, whoever thought these up, they need to be simultaneously praised and also locked away forever. Like put them in the dungeon, throw the dungeon away, kind of thing. I love this though. I love it. It's dry humor, it's violence, it's gore that's disturbing. Little warning. Uh, the last panel of this book I could have done without. Uh, it does. I feel like it serves a purpose to the story to show you how messed up one of these characters are, but it was out there. It was out there. My biggest complaint with this particular series of Hack Slash so far, and it's the most minor thing, there's not enough Vlad. You don't see Vlad, her partner, in this as much as you do the other series. And I love Vlad. Vlad's amazing. I still highly recommend this series. If you're a horror fan and have never read Hack Slash, first off, why? And what are you doing with your life?
John, they tried and it died. And then they tried again and it died. I think it's dead. I don't think it's going to happen.
I want it to be a series just for the characters they could use as the slashers.
Right. I think Amazon Prime could potentially turn this into something a la Twisted Metal,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to be a movie.
But, secondly, secondly, go ask your LCS. If you've never read it and you want to try it, ask your LCS. If you don't have an LCS, ask around the experience because we all talk to each other and we try to help, other shows. If you're watching other shows and they don't have your books and some other show has, we usually try to let them know, hey, this person's going to be on. Just look online. Just trust me when I tell you Hack Slash deserves praise and you owe it to yourself to give it a shot if you never have. It is an awesome series. Straight up. More cat.
I thought she was going to go for the treats, but there she goes. Hold on.
Okay. Ooh, that's a tough one, Castle. I have to get back with you on that one, boss. But Sydney Sweeney with black hair. or Kat Dennings. Oh. Yeah, exactly, Preston.
All right, that moment of cat ASMR brought to you by Temptations Treats.
Okay. All right. Next book.
Amanda, I'm going to do the show here every week now because people want to see the cats. So, okay, this is Grimm. If you've read Grimm, you maybe don't need to read this book. I hate to be that guy, but it's true. She's really going at it over here, guys. Nobody has ever needed thumbs more than that cat. Cat saying, "Open the bag, human." Right. So Grimm. If you read Grimm, this is just the remastered pen and ink version. Everything is a gray wash, gouache, kind of. It all kind of looks like this cover. But what's cool about it is there's some scripting notes and some other stuff. It almost is like an annotated version of Grimm. And it's super fun. Like I said, if you liked Grimm, this is something to pick up. If maybe Grimm wasn't your jam, this is not something you maybe need to read. But if you missed out on Grimm when it came out and you think that sort of a modern horror heavy retelling of the original Grimm fairy tales sagas are something you would be into, grab it. But I think the version of this book that was full color originally is maybe the way the story was meant to be told. But this is a fun little, again, alternative if you're into that kind of thing.
Okay. Cat distraction there.
We got to fill the show somehow, Jay.
That's true. That's true. I made a horrible mistake with this one. I haven't read a single issue of this. I just wanted to jump on because I hear how good it is. It feels like a hacker drama with a mix of like supernatural elements, a little covert mission, and a little take over the government anarchy. It is interesting enough to where I want to start at the beginning, but it wasn't until the end of the book when I saw a human being glitch and I had no idea what was going on that I like, okay, I do need to read this because I have no clue what is that? Why is a person glitching like they're a program? That really piqued my interest. Now, I don't know who the villains are. I don't know who the heroes are, or if it's a morally gray area, and I don't want to know. I want to find out. I'll be honest with you though, with everybody here, because I always got to be honest. If it wasn't for the last couple of panels of this, I don't think I would even bother going to read the first one. Because for me, and this is my own personal preference, a great story is one that you can jump in on any issue. And yeah, you might be lost. You might not know what's going on, but it makes you want to go back and read from the beginning to figure out what's going on. And I had the same thing with Something is Killing the Children. I did not read Something is Killing the Children until in stores this week, and we read like issue 25 or something. But that issue was so good, it made me want to go back and read the first arc of Something is Killing the Children. So to summarize for this one, I'm the worst person to review this because, again, I don't know what's going on. But if you are somebody who has been enjoying this series, you should definitely keep getting it.
So as we transition to my next book here, I want to say something. The cats are here because I'm not at the office. Obviously, I'm at my friend's house, and they are presented to you without commercial interruption by the forthcoming book from Boom Studios, Man's Best, written by Pornsak Pichetshote and drawn by Jesse Lonergan. It is the story of dogs in space. And also there are cats too in space. Coming in March from Boom Studios. All right, Jill and the Killers. I read the first issue for this show, and it was so long ago, I don't remember. So issue 2 was not good because I don't remember. The art is interesting. The art is cool. It all kind of looks like this cover. It's all kind of got that thick black outline kind of stuff going for it. It's got a lot going for it. And the story was interesting. But like every comic should be able to be somebody's first, and this cannot be. And that's a problem for a series that had such a long hiatus. Now, this is Oni Press, so it's entirely possible that we got the first issue way before like FOC, and issue 1 came out like a month ago. But it is just not. Like, we didn't get it then. We got it a long time ago. So I would like to go back and reread issue 1 and then read issue 2 immediately following it. I think it would help. This is a book that, for me, from here on out, I will read in trades only. Mavis thinks so too. This is a book that we will read in trade and, just kind of read it all at one time, right? So, unfortunately, this one was a little disappointing, if for no other reason than big gaps.
Okay, I get you now, mate. Too. My dog's actually in the other room with my wife, so because he gets too loud, so I have to bring him on one day.
Han is big loud.
All right, so I had to do it. I had to have my softball pick. This is another fruitless adventure with Fang and the gang, looking for the 8th Chaos Emerald. This time, though, they run into Knuckles, and they kind of get the drop on Knuckles, but once Fang asks Knuckles, like, where's the 8th Chaos, or I'm looking for the 8th Chaos Emerald, and Knuckles kind of looks at him, he's like, I only protect the Master Emerald, you're not getting that. And Fang's like, no, I want the 8th one, not the Master one. That one has the name in the title of the Emerald. I want this one. And Knuckles just kind of like, I don't know if any of you have little brothers or sisters, but when you're real young and your little brother's like hitting you, and you're just like, all right, now that's enough, right? That's kind of what it feels like, because Knuckles is kind of like getting ready to battle, and he's like, I'm not wasting my breath on a fairy tale. Get off my island. And they leave. They don't even argue with him. They just, because it's Knuckles. So they leave. They end up in like Robotnik's territory. It's this weird water island, and they're in this building, and the building starts filling up with water. And they can't get their hovercraft to start. So they're like, oh, cool, we're gonna drown. And they end up getting rescued by Robotnik. And that's where I'll leave this one. Obviously, there's a lot more that happens than that, but I don't want to give too much of it away in case anybody is interested in this. The best thing about the Sonic books are they're literally for anyone. Anyone can enjoy these. And I thought today, why not sandwich Negaduck or all the negative stuff? Sorry, the negative stuff that I was reading, the real brutal stuff in between Negaduck and Sonic. There are times I need a break from all the heads with hands that they walk on. But yeah, this is. Sometimes you need a break. You need something light. This is the perfect book for that.
One of the things we got in their swag bag at Comics Pro was a Sonic the Hedgehog Mad Libs book. That is awesome.
Oh. All right, and the last book.
All right, so this is not the cover to Room Service Number 0, but this is cooler than the cover to Room Service Number 0. Room Service Number 0, I don't even remember who wrote it or who drew it. Jay, maybe you can look that up. I don't have two screens to be able to look it up. This is
Tinian.
It's Tinian. You're right.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes I claim that Tinian is writing too much and not doing a good job at some of the things? He did a good job at this one. This book was great. You know how man is the most dangerous game? And how if you're going to hunt man, be prepared for what happens? Imagine, if you would, there's a service for the uber rich that lets you take out your frustrations with work or with your sex life or with anything else by killing another human with a crowbar. That's room service. Essentially. They clean up after you when you do the bad. And you find out in this story about a guy who has used this service, and he tells his lover that he has used this service, and the lover tells his brother, who tells a newspaper man, who is a client of room service. Like, I got super spoily in that review, but that is just a small little portion of what this book is. And this is a number 0, right? This is setting up a much bigger story. What's really cool is that you don't quite know what the room service company is, right? Or how you get room service or any of that kind of stuff, how they work. And I imagine that's what we're going to find out. But in this book, it is definitely just this introduction to this ultraviolet sort of secret world, secret society kind of thing that lets you take out your frustrations in the most brutal and violent ways possible. And in the end, you're not sure who to root for. Because everybody in this book is bad so far. Right. It really is. This was maybe, if Borealis and Canary hadn't come out this week, this would be by far the best book of the week. But you have like a 1A, 1B, and 1C situation with this and those two books. I really, really enjoyed this book. Even if you did see an amount of male genitalia that you don't normally see in comic books. Preston, no. This makes Red Room look completely unhinged. Like, we're talking about organized Red Room here. Like, if, like, they had, like, I don't know, a point of sale system. And, like, bookkeeping.
Like
and a schedule.
The Continental mixed with Hostile?
No. This would be, like, H&R Block.
Oh, wow.
Mixed with Jeffrey Dahmer?
So
Or
by Amazon.
no, even Amazon is not this organized. Red Room, if Red Room was organized by the IRS, like, it's insane. Like, super cool concept. I want everybody to read it. I got really spoilery in my little review just then, but I want everybody to read it because even the stuff I said is just fractions of the overall story plot here. Very, very, very interesting story.
Awesome. Right.
But if you are faint of heart or at all homophobic, just pass. So, Not that I think anybody here is that, but it is wildly interesting. So that's all our books, huh, Jay?
Yes, it is.
So, like I said, guys, Miss Jen being under the weather means we didn't get to read our full complement of books this week. So I can't tell you what's coming out from Marvel or DC or some of the other companies Miss Jen reads. So head into your local comic shops and check those out. If you don't know where your local comic shop is, we can help with that. Head over to comicshoplocator.com and type in the area code where you are, zip code where you are, the numbers of the place where you live or are going to be, and it will tell you where there are comic shops nearby to you. We were just in Pittsburgh for Comics Pro, and we visited Pittsburgh Comics and Southside Comics and Phantom of the Attic while we were there, because Comic Shop Locator, and you put in the number, and it tells you where there are comic shops nearby to you. So make sure you stop and check those out and visit a local comic shop. And when you go in, spend $5 extra if you can. If you're getting your pull list, find one thing and buy it. It can make all the difference in the world for a comic shop. We went to at Pittsburgh Comics this week. We went to a signing featuring Ed Brisson and Matt Rosenberg. And, I wanted to buy the things from Ed and Matt. But I'm like, you know what? I need to do something to support this shop. So I bought a trade paperback of something I already own. Because I don't have it in trade paperback form. I have the single issues. So, needless to say, spend a couple of extra bucks and support a comic shop nearby to you. Hopefully, we'll be back at full strength next week with Miss Jen and Jay and I reading comics yet again here on Minute to Skim It. Stay tuned in about 20 minutes from now for Mint Hunter, who will have great books. And then Henri will be here tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, and he has your giveaway for the day.
Yeah.
So check that out. And then tomorrow, we have Comic Collectibles. We have 3 Triple T. We have 360. And then Thursday, we have the return of GM Comics at 11 a.m. And all of our normal slate of Thursday and Friday shows. So stay tuned this week for all the good things. We have new shows coming, and big news, we have some new partners that we are going to be announcing here in the coming weeks and months here on The Experience that are going to help us keep this thing going, make this thing more sustainable, and help this show or help the channel keep growing. So when you see them, make sure you support them. If you also want to support us, you could throw us a super chat, super thanks, super sticker. Or so many of you, Corey Rust, Lorena, Make2, Castle, Preston, all of you guys are members of our channel over on YouTube. You can subscribe there and become a member, become a paid member. We have members-only content starting just as soon as I can get it edited, guys. I promise. I'm working on it every day.
Yeah.
Jay will be taking over once I get the first couple done. So it'll be on a better schedule. So be looking out for that stuff. We got new shows in development all the time. So make sure you check that out. And we will see everybody next time.